What are the actions you would tell me to take? What are the things you would tell me to do?
There's like eating the dots.
Yeah, I like that. So that seems like a reasonable thing to do. Eat dot.
I guess the little dots versus the big dots. They might be two different things because I want to eat a big dot if I want to turn the tables on the ghosts and pursue them.
Right. Okay, so I'll just call the little dot dot.
Okay. And then I feel like it's really important to have a have a strategy for escaping from the ghosts or pursuing the ghosts depending on the mode.
Okay, so yeah, so you might want to eat a ghost and you might want to avoid a ghost. Anything else?
I mean, I guess we could come up with more detailed strategy ideas, but those feel like the basic things.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. And when we go back and we listen to the recording later, Michael, I think you'll find that this is almost exactly what you said when you explained how the game worked. You said you need to eat the little dots. And you also have to eat the big dots eventually because you need to clear them. If the ghosts touch you, then you die, so you need to avoid the ghosts. But if you eat the big dots, then you can actually eat the ghosts. And that's pretty much how you describe the game.
I see. So the way that I kind of thought about the game to convey it to people is at this sort of high level that kind of makes sense with respect to options as well.
Right, which is what I also think was true in the other grid world. Now, we could look at this and we say, well, these are options and maybe we can learn these options or they're given to us and somebody could code them up for us. I don't know. I want to point out a couple of things about these options, though, and this is going to bring us back to your excellent analogy about programming and about computing, which is if we think of these things as functions or procedures to execute, which I think is a perfectly reasonable thing to do, I want to point out that what we get from functions, procedures is not just the ability to reason at a high level, but we also get something called separation of concerns, which allows us to only think about parts of the world. So, for example, if you want me to multiply two numbers, I only have to worry about those two numbers. I don't have to worry about, the state of the stack or whatever else is going on in this program. I just need to worry about the two numbers you're asking me to multiply. So there's a similar kind of gain and abstraction that you get here by picking options carefully. So to illustrate this, I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. I want you to tell me, what are the states of this world? What are the features that make up the states in Pacman?
Okay, so it's definitely different if there's any dots left versus there's no dots left.
Right, so
that's an important distinction.
So the dots and where they are on the screen matter. So
you want, okay, so not an abstraction of the state. You actually want literally the things that make up the state.
Oh, well, which I claim is an abstraction of the state, almost by definition. So I think what you said before works in either case, right? So there are dots. There are dots on the screen. I need to know where all the dots are. And so there's some set of features that make up the state that tell me where dots are.
Right. Okay. So then there's where the Pacman is. Location of the little dots, location of the big dots, location of the Pacman, location of the ghosts. And I guess the walls aren't really part of the state in the sense that they don't really change. Though I guess if we were talking about multiple levels of the game, we might have to also say where the walls are.
True. I'm going to claim that you don't have to do that because it's all going to be taken care of by, you could, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's actually all going to be taken care of by the transition function, right? You can't enter walls, so you can't from a state go into where a wall happens to be.
Okay. And whether the ghosts are in, I don't know what to call it, but power pellet mode, whether the ghosts are fleeing from us or whether they're attacking us.
Right. So we talk about scared ghosts.
Scared, whether the ghosts are scared, I see. They always look a little scared with the bulgy eyes.
Right. Not when they're coming after you, they don't. But when they start blinking purple and they're running away from you and screaming, ah, then they seem a little scared to me. Maybe that's just my version of Pac-Man. Anyway, so here's a bunch of features. And the details here, matter in implementation, but I think for what we're talking about don't, right? We talk about where the dots are. It doesn't have to be where the dots are. It could be where the closest dot is to you, or where the farthest dot is to you, or it could be every single dot and whether it's on or off. Same true for the big dots. Pac-Man, you have to know where Pac-Man is. You need to know where ghosts are. Maybe you just need to care about where the closest ghost is. Whatever. And it does matter whether they're scared or not. In the same way that we don't have to keep track of the walls or other things that we might not have to keep track of, but whatever it is we're going to do in the detail, I think to solve the game, I think your reasoning is right. We need to know where the dots are of various flavors. We need to know where the ghost and where we are, and we need to know whether we can eat the ghost or not. And these features, however they're exactly expressed, are important for solving and planning in the game. Now, here's the observation I'm going to make. Just like when I ask you to multiply two numbers, I don't need to know everything else that's going on in your program. I suspect that is the case, that even though I need all of these features to effectively and efficiently solve a Pacman board, my options do not necessarily need to know all of these things. So, for example, if you told me to avoid the ghost, ask yourself whether it matters whether the ghosts are scared or not.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess if I am avoiding the ghosts, well, actually, yeah, it changes their behavior, so it may depend on that. Sure.
Right. So, I think we should delve into this a little more deeply, and the way I want to do that is with a quiz.